Hi there, my name is Michelle Garrett. I am the founder of Divas with a Purpose, a community that believes that all women are divas, driven, inspiring, victorious, and called to action in all areas of our lives. And I wanted to talk to you today about purpose, and more specifically, how I have become a diva with a purpose in my journey to getting there, how I lost it, kind of, sort of, and how I am regaining and reshaping the life that I am called to live and being the diva that I'm called to be. About 11 years ago now, almost 11 years ago, I started my community. It started as a blog, and I just sat and started writing. At the time, I was new in my marriage. My husband and I had been married for about 2.5 years. It was the first time that we'd actually lived together for an extended period of time, as he was in the military when we first got married. So I was adjusting to that. And we had a newborn. And we had just moved from the city that we met, and we were back in South Carolina, which is my hometown or my home state. And I was miserable, absolutely, positively miserable. And after being up all night long with a cranky baby and crying quite a few tears myself, I just started writing. And I wrote these words: in order to live a fulfilled life, you must have a purpose. You must have something that makes you get up each morning excited and ready to make a difference somehow, some way. Your purpose should not be something that is selfish and just benefits you and yours. Your purpose should touch others and have a domino effect on those that they touch. It should metamorphosize into an even bigger purpose. I had no idea what I was beginning when I wrote those words and how they would ultimately change my life. They would change my family's life and so many other people's lives as well, as my community was born. I began to embrace my divitude, being driven, being inspiring, being victorious, and being called to action in all the things that I was doing, whether it was taking care of my children, whether it was going to work, whether it was making sure that I was pouring into myself and making time for self-care, or spending time and reconnecting with family, friends, and loved ones. And it made a huge, huge, huge difference. My purpose is my divitude. And when you break down what a diva means to me, the fact that I strive to be driven on a regular basis. And that doesn't mean that I'm always go, 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 go. It means that I am looking to be the best me that I'm called to be. It means that each day that I get up, my goal that I strive to make and I strive to reach is to be better than the person I was the day before. Some days I fall short. We all do. And some days I hit the mark, and other days I surprise myself and far exceed it. But my competition is not with anybody else. It's totally with me. And so by focusing on being driven and making sure that I am doing the things to better myself, to better my family, to better the women that are part of my community that I connect with, whether we're working together, whether we are in a book club together, anything that we're doing, my focus is, how can I make this situation be better? What can I give? What can I share? What insight? And sometimes it is, I just need to sit and learn and take in. Being driven doesn't mean that you're always the person that has to be in charge. It sometimes means that you're the person that allows others to lead so that you can learn and so that you are able to truly step into that amazing diva that you're called to be. Being inspiring. I try not to be a sourpuss. For the most part, I have a very positive outlook on life. And my goal is to look at the bright side of things. I have a saying that essentially, if I can't directly impact it, if I can't change it with the resources that I have, then guess what? I have to release it and let it go. If I can't do anything about it, the time and energy that I spend worrying about it and crying over it and just being, impatient about it, that's time and energy that I could be spending on something else. And so for me, being inspiring is really taking the time to look within and seeing how I can encourage myself first. How can I motivate myself? How can I do all the things that I need to do so that when I wake up, when I step out and I'm interacting with other people, whether it's my family, whether it's friends, clients, coworkers, that I am putting the best Michelle forward so that nothing that I say, nothing that I do will be a hindrance to somebody else's purpose. Again, that's a lot. And I'm not saying that I strive to be perfect. I just strive to be the best me that I'm called to be. And on this journey, it's not easy. I'll be honest. There are some times when I want to have some really petty moments. There are some times when those snide comments want to come out. And because I have been working on myself, because I've had those inner conversations, it's not easy to do. When I want to be petty, I can't be petty. Or I find myself like it's on the tip of my tongue, and then I stop myself because it's just not me. It's not the person that I am. And when it does come out, I feel so, so, so bad about it that I'm immediately called to go and apologize for my actions, whether they were warranted or not, and let others know that that is not what I want to bring forth into the world. There's so much negativity. There's so much sadness. There's just so much confusion that my goal, my purpose is to be as positive and uplifting in any and all situations that I can be so that I can spread the positivity that has been given to me to others as well. The V is for being victorious. And so by being victorious, it essentially means that I don't have an I quit attitude. I know who my strength comes from. I know that I am equipped to deal with the things that I face, and I also have others that I can call on as well, whether it's my support system that is around me, whether it is the prayers that I have sent up, whether it is reaching out to other resources outside of my family to be able to come and assist me. I know that I can be victorious because I have the things in place, or I have access to the things in place that will help me to do what it is that I'm called to do. And by having a victorious attitude, it helps me not to go into a situation already claiming defeat. If I go into a situation with a I can't attitude, guess what? I can't. I often tell, my children, I often tell those that I have worked with that if you start a conversation off, or we're starting a new project, or we're working on something, and you say, well, I can't do this, you're absolutely right. You can't and you won't until you change your mindset and you change your perspective. And by living that victorious attitude and embracing it over the past 11 years, it has helped me to overcome and to obtain things that I never, ever, ever thought that I would do within my life. And then being called to action, personally and professionally. If I see something that is not right, it's not easy for me to just sit and accept it. I also feel as though it is important and it's my duty to help others and to lift others up just the same way that someone else sowed into my life at some period of time. There have been so many amazing people over the years that have come up to me and just said, I want to help you, or I was called to do this for you. And they have blessed me in ways that have left me absolutely astonished. And while I'm not in a position to where I can do the level of things that some people have done for me, I know that those small things that I am able to do may seem small and insignificant to me, but it makes such an impact and it makes such a difference in the life of someone else. Because there's those times in our lives when we feel as though we're not worth it, where no one sees us. And to have someone come to you and say, hey, I see what you're doing. I admire you. You are giving me strength by the things that you're doing, and I just want to say thank you. Or this is something that I was led to give to you to help you on your mission. and help you with the work that you're doing. It makes a difference, and oftentimes it comes at a time when they really needed it because they were on that brink. You ever been there on that brink where you were just ready to give up and throw in the towel, and then there was a word that you got, some sort of gratitude or token of appreciation that reminded you just how much you were needed and how much the work that you were doing was necessary. Now, I'll be honest. Living my divitude, living out my purpose is not easy all the time. I was recently diagnosed with having chronic anxiety and depression, and I gave up. Those words are not easy to say. The thoughts and the actions that went into it and how has it affected and impacted my family. Still, almost a year later, we are feeling the effects. And as I regroup and refocus and really realign myself with my purpose, it all goes back to the basics. The things that I said 10 years ago, the things that I wrote down 10 years ago, they're still true today. It's just with all the hustle and bustle of life, we sometimes forget what it is that we are supposed to be focusing on. I got caught up being a wife. I got caught up being a mom. I got caught up being a business owner and a friend and a sister and a confidant that I forgot about Michelle. I was asked, what is it that you love to do? And I couldn't give an answer. I could not name one thing that I truly enjoyed doing that was not tied to somebody else in my life, that was not tied to my business. I had no outside hobbies. I had nothing that just made me smile and laugh and I enjoyed doing that wasn't tied to something. And that was not easy to admit, and it was not easy to deal with. So over the past few months, I have been rebuilding myself. I have been taking the time to really reflect on Michelle and learn myself again. We're getting to know each other. We're getting to understand, what are the things that I enjoy? Do I like that dessert because I really like that dessert? Or is it because, that's what my kids enjoy eating, so it's easier for me to just get that and say it's my favorite. Simple things like that sometimes don't really seem significant, but they are, because it's over time we are slowly losing ourselves. And when we lose ourselves, we lose touch with what our purpose is, and we are unable to live and walk in our purpose. Because when we feel that we're insignificant, when we feel as though we don't matter or our presence is not needed or necessary, essentially what we're saying is that our purpose, the reason that we were placed on this earth, does not matter, is not significant, and doesn't need to be here. And that is far, far, far from the truth. So on our journey to living out our purpose and learning what our purpose is, and just reigniting, if you need to, that fire with your purpose, I encourage you to make sure that you are doing the things that you truly enjoy, that you have taken the time to really identify what brings you joy, what makes you happy. Start saying no more often. If it doesn't bring you joy, why are you doing it? If it's not needed and necessary for yourself, then why are you busying yourself up with doing things that are just mindless tasks? Saying no is not easy, especially for a lot of women. We struggle with doing that. And all I can say is the more you say it, the easier it gets. That first time, it may feel a little bit uncomfortable. It may feel like, whew, I'm letting somebody down. But you're not. What you're doing is propping yourself up. You're pouring into yourself and saying, I am more important than this other task, because someone else is available to do it. And I need that time for myself. I need that time for my family. I need that time to just sit and be and, commune with God and say, you know what? Pour into me however it is that you need to pour into me. But do not feel that your purpose is always tied to you being on the go, you having to go, 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 do, be. Sometimes for us to be able to truly step into our purpose and do the things that it is that we're called to do, we have to sit, we have to rest, we have to let our body and mind and spirit rejuvenate so that we can be ready to do the work that we're called to do when we're called to do it. And we have ensured that all parts of our body are ready and prepared so that we're not exhausted, so that we're not stressed, so that we're not depressed, so that we're not full of anxiety and dread, but that we're able to step into our purpose and do the things that we're called to do happily, full of joy, and make the impact on the lives of others in the special way that we were called to do it. So here's to us embracing our divitude, being driven, inspiring, victorious, and called to action in all areas of our lives, and living the purpose-filled lives that we were called to live.